Jennifer Hayes stood at the front of the weapons training classroom at Marine Corps Base Quantico, her blonde hair pulled back in a practical ponytail as she fumbled with the disassembled parts of an M16A4 rifle. Around her, a class of 20 newly commissioned Marine officers watched with growing skepticism as she struggled to align the bolt carrier group with the upper receiver, her hands visibly trembling. "Hayes, what the hell is this?" barked Major Anderson, the senior weapons instructor, his voice cutting through the awkward silence. "This is basic rifle assembly. How are you supposed to teach these officers if you can't even put together the Corps' primary service weapon?" The young lieutenants exchanged knowing glances. Hayes was clearly the most incompetent weapons instructor they'd ever seen. From which city in the world are you watching this video today? Let us know in the comments. And if you believe that heroes come in the most unexpected forms, don't forget to subscribe. At 34, Jennifer was noticeably older than most civilian contractors at the Officer Candidate School, having been hired just 3 months earlier. Despite what appeared to be minimal qualifications, her personnel file listed only vague prior experience with small arms maintenance and a 2-year stint at a Virginia shooting range. What no one at the base knew was that beneath the right sleeve of her civilian instructor uniform lay a tattoo that would make even the most seasoned Marine combat veterans stand at attention. A tattoo that told the story of missions so classified that her very presence at Quantico violated multiple security protocols. Jennifer's morning had started like any other at 5:30 a.m., with a 5-mile run around the Quantico perimeter before the Virginia summer heat became unbearable. She'd been dreading today's weapons assembly demonstration for weeks, knowing that her deliberate incompetence was wearing thin with both the instructors and students. As she showered and dressed in her civilian contractor uniform, khaki pants and a blue polo shirt with the OCS Training Division logo, she reminded herself that maintaining her cover was more important than her pride. 3 more months, she thought. Just 3 more months until the operation concluded, and she could disappear again. The classroom was standard military issue. Concrete block walls painted in institutional beige fluorescent lighting that cast everyone in an unflattering pallor, and rows of tables facing a demonstration area where Jennifer now struggled with the rifle components. The air conditioning fought a losing battle against the combined body heat of 21 Marines in the July humidity. "I'm sorry, Major," Jennifer mumbled, dropping the charging handle for the second time. "Let me try again." She could feel the weight of 40 judgmental eyes on her as she fumbled with the parts that in reality she could assemble blindfolded in under 30 seconds. Major Anderson sighed dramatically. "Officers, this is a perfect example of why the Corps insists on every Marine being a rifleman first. Hayes, step aside. Lieutenant Cooper, show your colleagues how this is done properly." A confident young officer stepped forward, assembling the rifle with practiced precision while Jennifer retreated to the side of the room, her cheeks burning with manufactured embarrassment. This was the role she'd been ordered to play, the incompetent civilian contractor who somehow kept her job despite her obvious lack of qualifications. It was a necessary cover, but one that grew more difficult to maintain with each passing day. After the demonstration, Jennifer retreated to the small office she shared with 2 other civilian instructors, neither of whom were present that afternoon. She closed the door and leaned against it, allowing herself a moment of frustration before composing a brief encrypted message on her specially modified phone. Cover intact, timeline unchanged, no signs of target awareness. She had just sent the message when there was a sharp knock at the door. Jennifer quickly pocketed the phone and opened it to find Major Anderson standing there, his expression unreadable. "Hayes, we need to talk," he said, stepping into the office without waiting for an invitation. "I've been patient, but today's performance was unacceptable. I don't know who you impressed to get this position, but I'm recommending your contract be terminated." Jennifer nodded, keeping her eyes downcast. "I understand, sir. I'll try to improve." "This isn't about improvement anymore. This is about the safety and training of my Marines." He crossed his arms. "I've scheduled a meeting with the base commander tomorrow at 9 a.m. I suggest you use today to clean out your desk." After the major left, Jennifer sat at her desk, contemplating her options. Her mission parameters were clear: maintain cover at all costs, identify the leak in the officer training program, and determine which foreign intelligence service was receiving classified Marine Corps tactical information. Being fired would compromise everything, but revealing her true identity wasn't authorized except in extreme circumstances. At 5 p.m., as most of the base personnel were heading home for the day, Jennifer made her way to the outdoor range where a group of officers were conducting night fire qualification. The evening air was thick with humidity as the sun began to set over the Virginia woods. She stood at the back of the range, clipboard in hand, ostensibly observing the training but actually watching for any unusual behavior among the instructors or trainees. Lieutenant Cooper, who had shown up her rifle assembly skills earlier that day, approached with a smirk. "Come to see how real Marines handle weapons, Hayes." Jennifer forced a tight smile. "Just observing for my report." "Well, observe this," Cooper said, picking up an M4 carbine from the rack. He moved to the firing line, assumed a perfect stance, and fired a rapid sequence of shots that formed a tight group in the center of the target. The other officers applauded. "Your turn," Cooper said, offering the rifle to Jennifer with a challenging look. Several officers gathered around, clearly anticipating another embarrassing performance. Jennifer hesitated, knowing that maintaining her cover meant she should refuse or perform poorly. But something about Cooper's arrogance triggered a warning in her mind. His shooting was too perfect, his confidence too practiced, not like the other newly commissioned officers. "I don't think that's appropriate," she started to say, but Cooper cut her off. "What's wrong? Afraid to show everyone just how unqualified you really are?" He pressed the rifle into her hands. "Just 5 shots. That's all." Jennifer reluctantly took the weapon, feeling the familiar weight in her hands. As she moved to the firing line, she noticed Cooper pull out his phone and angle it slightly toward her. Was he recording this? The pieces suddenly clicked into place. Cooper wasn't just an arrogant lieutenant. He was assessing her, testing her, perhaps even baiting her into revealing her true capabilities. She raised the rifle to her shoulder, deliberately adopting an awkward stance, and fired 5 shots that scattered widely across the target, with 2 missing completely. The officers laughed, and Cooper took the rifle back with a satisfied expression. "As I thought," he said, "maybe stick to PowerPoint presentations, Hayes." As the group moved away, Jennifer noticed Cooper typing something on his phone. She needed to report this immediately, but as she turned to leave the range safety officer called out, "Hayes, since you're here, make yourself useful and help collect the brass when they're done." For the next hour, Jennifer knelt on the concrete range, picking up spent shell casings as the officers completed their qualification. The repetitive task gave her time to think, to plan her next move. Cooper was definitely someone to watch, possibly the leak she'd been sent to find. At 9 p.m., long after most personnel had left for the day, Jennifer was still at the range, sweeping the last of the brass into a collection bin. Her back ached from hours of bending over, and her hands were dirty with gunpowder residue. The range safety officer approached, keys jingling in his hand. "I'm locking up in 5 minutes, Hayes. Finish up." Jennifer nodded, emptying her dustpan into the bin. As she straightened up, her sleeve caught on the edge of a shooting bench, pulling up several inches to reveal the lower part of her forearm. The safety officer's eyes widened as he caught sight of the distinctive tattoo, a scout sniper emblem with 3 stars beneath it, marking her as part of an elite Marine sniper team. "What the hell?" he said, staring at her arm. "That's a Jennifer quickly pulled her sleeve down. "It's nothing. Just a tattoo." "That's not just any tattoo," the officer said, his voice dropping to a whisper. "That's a 3rd Battalion Scout Sniper Team marking. Those aren't handed out as souvenirs." Jennifer sighed, realizing the moment her cover began to unravel. "Look, it was a stupid thing. My ex was a Marine, and I got it to impress him." The safety officer, Gunnery Sergeant Phillips according to his nameplate, didn't look convinced. "No way. Those markings have specific meanings. The 3 stars mean 3 combat deployments," Jennifer finished, dropping the axe slightly. "I know what it means." Phillips studied her face with new interest. "Who are you really, Hayes?" Before Jennifer could answer, the range phone rang. Phillips answered it, his expression changing to alarm as he listened. "Yes, sir. Right away, sir." He hung up and turned to Jennifer. "That was base security. We're on lockdown. 3 armed intruders have breached the perimeter near the officer barracks." Jennifer's mind raced. This was no coincidence, not with her cover potentially compromised and her suspicions about Lieutenant Cooper. "Where exactly?" she asked, her voice automatically shifting to a command tone. Phillips noticed the change immediately. "Building 2775. That's where the visiting foreign officers are housed," Jennifer finished. "And where are the response teams?" 10 minutes out." They were conducting training at the far side of the base. Jennifer made a decision. Open the armory. I can't do that without authorization, Phillips protested. Jennifer pulled a small credential wallet from her pocket and flipped it open, revealing an ID that made the gunny's eyes widen. This is my authorization. Open it now. 2 minutes later, Jennifer moved silently through the darkness between buildings. An M40A6 sniper rifle slung across her back and an M45A1 pistol holstered at her side. She wore a tactical vest over her polo shirt, communication equipment allowing her to monitor the security response. The familiar weight of the equipment centered her, bringing back muscle memory from countless operations across 3 combat tours in Afghanistan. She reached Building 2775 and quickly assessed the situation. 2 security personnel lay unconscious near the entrance, and a shadow moved past a first-floor window. Jennifer keyed her radio. 3 tangos, first floor, east wing, hostages likely. Request immediate backup. The response came immediately. Identity and authorization? Whiskey Sierra 79er, Operation Kingfisher. There was a pause. Confirmed. QRF 8 minutes out. You are authorized to engage. Jennifer positioned herself on the roof of an adjacent building, setting up the rifle with practiced efficiency. Through the scope, she could see 3 armed men in civilian clothes moving through the building, herding several officers in PT uniforms into a central room. One of the officers was Lieutenant Cooper, but unlike the others, he showed no signs of fear. As she watched, Cooper subtly positioned himself away from the other hostages, moving closer to what appeared to be the leader of the intruders. It wasn't the behavior of a frightened hostage, but of someone expecting recognition. Jennifer keyed her radio again. Be advised, possible insider. Lieutenant Cooper may be working with the Tangos. She focused the scope on the lead intruder, who was now checking his watch and speaking into a radio of his own. They were waiting for something or someone. Jennifer had a clear shot, but taking it would fully expose her identity and potentially endanger the hostages if the other intruders reacted violently. The decision was made for her when one of the hostages, a young female lieutenant, attempted to break free. The lead intruder raised his weapon, and Jennifer fired without hesitation. The 7.62mm round found its mark with deadly precision, and the intruder dropped. Before the others could react, she had chambered another round and eliminated the second threat. The third intruder grabbed a hostage as a shield, but Jennifer remained calm, tracking his movement through the scope. When he momentarily exposed his shoulder, she took the shot. The hostage was unharmed, but the intruder went down. Jennifer quickly relocated, knowing that Cooper had seen where the shots came from. Sure enough, moments later, Cooper emerged from the building, a concealed sidearm now in his hand, as he scanned the rooftops. She keyed her radio. Target identified. Lieutenant Cooper has confirmed hostile. Copy. Take him alive if possible. Jennifer descended from her position and circled behind Cooper, who was now moving toward the parking area where a vehicle was waiting with its engine running. She emerged from the shadows, her pistol trained on his back. That's far enough, Lieutenant. Cooper froze, then slowly turned. His expression shifted from shock to calculation when he saw who was confronting him. Hayes? You're the shooter? Then understanding dawned. You're not a civilian contractor? Drop the weapon, Jennifer ordered. Cooper's eyes narrowed. You don't understand what you're interfering with. This is bigger than you know. I understand treason when I see it, Jennifer replied. Last chance, drop it. For a moment, it seemed Cooper would comply, but then he lunged for cover, firing as he moved. Jennifer felt the burn as a bullet grazed her arm, but her return fire was accurate and deliberate. Cooper went down with a wound to his leg, his weapon skittering across the pavement. Within minutes, the base was swarming with security forces, and Jennifer found herself in the commander's office, her arm bandaged, explaining the operation to increasingly senior officers as they arrived. Captain Hayes has been working deep cover for naval intelligence for the past 3 months, explained Commander Blackwood, who had arrived by helicopter from Langley. We had intelligence suggesting a foreign operation was targeting our officer training programs, specifically to compromise visiting officers from allied nations. Colonel Matthews, the base commander, looked at Jennifer with new respect. And Lieutenant Cooper? Part of a sleeper cell, Jennifer explained. He was recruited during his college years and placed here to identify and target foreign officers for blackmail or recruitment. The 3 men who breached the base tonight We're here to abduct the NATO liaison officer from Norway who arrived yesterday." The door opened, and Major Anderson entered, stopping short when he saw Jennifer in her tactical gear, now wearing captain's bars on her collar. "Hayes? What the hell is going on?" "It's Captain Hayes, actually," the colonel corrected him. "Scout sniper, 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines. 3 combat tours in Afghanistan, and apparently the reason we're not in the middle of an international incident right now." Anderson's jaw literally dropped. "But the rifle assembly demonstration this morning." Jennifer allowed herself a small smile. "Had to maintain my cover, Major. Sorry about that." Later that night, as the base returned to normal operations and Cooper was transported to a secure facility for interrogation, Jennifer sat in the now empty classroom where she had fumbled with rifle parts just hours earlier. Gunnery Sergeant Phillips found her there, 2 cups of coffee in hand. "Thought you might need this, Captain," he said, offering her one. "Thanks, Gunny." She accepted the coffee gratefully. "So, 3 tours with scout snipers," he said, sitting across from her. "That tattoo, those 3 stars, they represent something specific, don't they?" Jennifer rolled up her sleeve, revealing the full tattoo, the scout sniper emblem with 3 stars, and beneath them, a small number. Phillips whistled low. "31 confirmed?" Jennifer nodded silently. "Most decorated female sniper in Marine Corps history," Phillips said with respect. "And they had you pretending you couldn't put a rifle together." "Sometimes the best cover is the one no one would ever suspect," Jennifer replied, sipping her coffee. "Who would look for a scout sniper in the one person who couldn't handle a basic service weapon?" As dawn broke over Quantico, Jennifer Hayes prepared for her debriefing, knowing that by nightfall she would be assigned to a new mission, a new identity. But for a few hours at least, she could be herself again. Captain Jennifer Hayes, USMC Scout Sniper, the woman who couldn't assemble a basic rifle until her tattoo revealed who she really was.